So we got a stack of executive orders here on the desk of one Donald J. Trump, 47th president. He did sign a couple early on in the day to get his staff going, basically. But now we're set to get into the meat of exactly what's going on with some of these. So let's take a look and see what exactly he's doing here and give some thoughts.
Yes, sir. First, we have a list of pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021.
Okay, and how many people is this?
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutation?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. Nice to see you again. So this is a big one. Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight, frankly. They're expecting it. Approximately 1,500 people, six commutations.
Were there any cases you did not need for pardon of people?
We're looking at different things, but the commutations would be the ones that we'll take a look, and maybe it'll stay that way, or it'll go to, full pardon.
Okay. So for those who don't know what he's talking about, he said the word hostages. Not sure what the thinking is there, but he's talking about the people who were convicted for raiding Washington, D.C. 4 years ago when Biden took over, right? And that whole thing happened where people raided the Capitol and whatnot. So he pardoned all of them, or I don't know, 1,500, roughly 1,500. So I guess I don't know how they did it, but they found 1,500 of them and have decided to give them a full pardon, and that's the first order of business. Typically, those things were done at the end of one's presidency before they go, but now out the gate, he's pardoning people. So that's interesting. And then also the choice of words that he used, hostage, and then also his timing for doing it. So for those people, I'm sure it's great. Personally, I really don't know the details of how all that went down as far as who did what, where, when, why, and how. I think obviously some of the time that those people got for that was crazy. So it worked out for him. So see what else he's got here.
And the order does require the Bureau of Prisons to act immediately on receipt of the pardons and
Right.
commutation orders. Sir, this is an
Why don't we get that down so they can get them going right now?
Yes, sir.
Is that okay?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a proclamation guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion based on the current crisis at the southern border. It invokes various executive powers relating to the ongoing invasion at the southern border.
Invasion. These are linguists.
Mr. President, what makes you confident that those are not going to be blocked by the courts?
I don't think they will. I don't think they can be. They're very straight up. Why don't you take that and go over here? Could you get him over here, not on the side angle? Do you mind? Just go right over here with your friends. Okay?
Sir, this is an executive order realigning the United States refugee admission program to better align with American principles and American interests.
Okay, hold on. All right, so the first joint, the January 6th people were hostages, and now there's an invasion from the southern border that he's looking to fend off. Now, true indeed, the numbers of people that have been allotted in is a problem, but it's not just that. They were financed and backed by federal government and its policies. They were undergirded. They were supported financially, emotionally. They were essentially guided through and held by the hand, uh, invading, so to speak. Um, so that aspect of it presents some challenges, and it just makes it weird. And then now, uh, it also kind of creates this anti-brown, anti-Latin kind of culture, which I'm not in agreement with, to be honest. I don't think that's the way. And not acknowledging how those people got here and the process of it all is also doesn't seem fair. But I'd say this: a healthy middle and medium would be the guys that are being arrested, the guys and gals that are out there terrorizing communities after they've been admitted. I think it's fair that they should immediately be deported and they should be hunted down like wild animals, because essentially that's what that signature entailed. The beginning of the hunting parties being released.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, sir. Uh, This next executive order um, is about protecting America from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. Again, crisis at the border, but it goes beyond that and it implicates other executive powers as well.
Okay.
President Trump, if cartels are now going to be seen as foreign terror organizations, would you think about ordering U.S. Special Forces into Mexico to take them out?
Could happen. Stranger things have happened.
Mr. President,
And that was actually
sure that Maduro will accept Venezuelans?
Say it.
How will you make sure that Maduro will accept Venezuelans?
Well, we're going to see on Venezuela. We're looking at Venezuela very strongly. It's a country I know very well for a lot of reasons, and it's boy, it was a great country 20 years ago, and now it's a mess, right?
Sir, can
The-
we expect ICE raids starting tomorrow in major cities?
What does that mean?
Can we expect ICE raids in major cities?
I don't want to say when, but it's going to happen.
uh,
Has to happen, or we're not going to have a country left.
This is actually an executive order designating the cartels and other organizations to be foreign terrorist organizations.
Okay, so part of the deal here is he's essentially empowering himself further through these orders. It's not just him signing means to say, oh, we're going to do this or going to do that. He's actually empowering himself. And through empowering himself, further empowering the office of the president to do more domestically, because inherently the position of president is more of a foreign ambassador. He does control borders and the military, but it's for the purpose of ensuring and protecting the whole of the U.S. and doing what's in the best interest of the whole of the U.S. and operating primarily as a foreign ambassador, seeking trade deals and, being a face for all 50 states. That's 50, by the way, for those who don't know, internationally, right? He's not really meant to intermingle with local politics too much. There are some exceptions to that in U.S. history, especially as it relates to, the war on the banking cartel and things like that. Efforts were made to kind of prevent that from happening. As we can see, that war was eventually lost. Excuse me. To some extent, people are starting to wake up and fight now, but now that we have a Federal Reserve or a central bank, that war is effectively lost. So what that means, here's what I see. I see you're showing me one hand, but not the other, right? You're telling me that you're going to do this and that, which I do believe. I have no doubt that they're going to run around like madmen arresting brown men, women, and children. I don't doubt that. I know well enough how it goes when they want to hunt a particular subgroup amongst us here in the U.S. What I'll say though is this: in truth, as I said, some of those people definitely do need to be removed. What I'll say though is this: there's got to be another agenda here with the powers that this office is being given. It's not just for your and my advantage, for the benefit of humanity, for the benefit of the United States. While some of that is there, I do believe that there are other agendas in the works, in the making, as well. And I encourage you to keep an open mind and not be hoodwinked by what it is that we're witnessing as this whole fiasco continues to play out.
That's a big one.
Yes, sir.
People have wanted to do this for years. So they are now designated as terrorist organizations, foreign. And Mexico probably doesn't want that, but we have to do what's right. They're killing our people. They're killing 250, 300,000 American people a year, not 100, like has been reported for 15 years. It's probably 300,000.
Now, what he's talking about here is the fentanyl. For those who don't know, the fentanyl coming from China in precursor form and then being constructed and chemically manufactured in Mexico and muled up through the states and then distributed to the ignorant, uneducated, mostly, and I'll say in the urban areas, they're black, who are the dealers, right? And they're distributing it and they're getting rich and they're playing their hip hop videos and they're killing people and they're going to jail. They also do have to go, right? Like I can appreciate old school hustler who is hustling to pay his rent because he can't get a job or his mom has cancer and they got poor insurance, so you got to make a move, right? I get that. But within that, there are limits, right? And certain things we just can't sanction no matter what the condition. And among them is this whole fentanyl that's moving people off board left and right, overdosing and dying. Now, one might say, well, I can't, I'm not the one who tells them how much to take. They kill themselves. Well, there's two types of overdoses. There's the overdose for the one who can't regulate their own dosage and they take too much. And then there's the one where I'm told that it's this amount or I'm told that it's this thing. It's not, I take it and I die. That one is the one that is disproportionately high, unacceptably high. And they're putting it in everything, even the weed, right? If I wanted fentanyl in my weed, I would put it there. That's not okay. Such people definitely need to be moved off board. But again, I'd be cautious of the powers that are being imbued into the office of president in order to get this job done.
This is an
So
executive.
if Mexico doesn't want that, how are you gonna deal with this?
I don't know, you'll have to ask them.
Sir, this is an executive order entitled Protecting the American People Against Invasion, which again deals with the southern border and the unprecedented admission of illegal aliens across the southern border.
What do you see the biggest national security threat to the U.S., Mr. President? What's going to be your priority on foreign policy?
Say,
What's going to be your priority on foreign policy? What do you see as the biggest
well,
national
foreign
security
policy is a
threat?
big statement. I mean, my priority on foreign policy, it's going to be to keep America safe. Very simple. It's a big question, though. That's a very big question.
Who is going to be the first foreign leader that you plan to meet, or who you're going to call tomorrow on your first day? in
I've
office?
already been meeting people. I've been meeting them. I've been talking to them. I met with Prime Minister Trudeau, who I call Governor Trudeau. I met with numerous foreign leaders. Go ahead.
Sir,
what might be your first
this,
step?
This next order relates to the definition of birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment of the United States.
Yeah, that's a good one. Birthright. That's a big one.
What about that one in the course? That one is likely to be
Could
challenged.
be. We think we have good grounds, but you could be right. I mean, you'll find out. It's ridiculous. We're the only country in the world that does this with birthright, as you know. And it's just absolutely ridiculous, but, we'll see. We have very good grounds.
Sir, this,
People have wanted to do this for decades.
sir, this is a proclamation declaring a national emergency at the southern.
Okay, that one's worth chiming in on. So he's expecting that this one might be challenged in court, and in all likelihood it will, and I'm sure it'll be a drama to play out as a political football. But basically, he wants to end this. All you have to do is be born in America and you're a U.S. citizen. Now, maybe in theory years ago that might have worked, but it does look kind of ridiculous now. The way it's set up, people can essentially just travel here, deliver a child, and that child receives nationality, and then they leave. That kind of a setup just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. It's been in place for a while, and true enough, as a person who's attempted to, live in other countries internationally and just talk to, their embassies and find out what their rules are, it's not a very immigration-friendly world out there the way that we might think it is from a U.S. perspective. We're very immigration-friendly, but it is not like that at all around the world, especially the whole birthright citizenship and all that. It's just a different reality that we live here as far as it relates to connecting people to a land and the requirements to do that, and then also the acceptance of one who wants to come and live amongst you. It's just not like that in other places. So I do think that this one here, there is some merit to it. The way they're going about it, though, I'm not sure if it's the most effective. And I'm not even sure what's in it, right? Like, I see them signing it, but what exactly is in it, what it means, what are the details, I'm not sure. And being as though that's the case, I'm definitely going to be a bit leery of those definitions. But at any rate, it definitely is something that needs to be looked at.
Border of the United States.
That's a big one. A lot of big ones, huh? You know what that means, right?
President Trump, did President Biden leave you a letter?
He may have. Wait, don't they leave it in the desk? I don't know. Oh,
What's in there?
thank you, Peter. It could have been years before we found it.
That's-
Wow, thank you.
What do you say on the outside?
Maybe we should all read it
Let's
together.
read it.
Well, maybe I'll read it first and then make that
That
determination.
sounds great.
Peter, thank you very much. I may not have seen this for months.
Happy to help with the passing of the torch.
I left him one in the desk just like this.
What are you talking about with them?
That just seemed kind of curated and scripted to me for some reason. It seemed kind of cheesy. I don't know. Just tell me what you think, but that just seemed scripted to me.
Unification of our country. I didn't know that he gave a pardon to his family because he did it during my speech.
He didn't tell you in the limo?
No, he didn't tell me. No. He did it. They released it during my speech. During my speech. So all I could do was say, excuse me, I'd like to come back and speak some more. So no, we were surprised by that. It's
President,
bad precedent, obviously.
Okay, so apparently Biden, at the last minute, decided that he's going to pardon all of his family members against all kinds of things, claiming that the Trump and his group is out to get me and blah, blah, blah. But here's what I have to say. Why pardon if you didn't do anything wrong, right? Like, can they really just pin and make up something on you to that extent, where you have to use the power that's given to only one person among 400 million to decide who is going to be forgiven for what crime, and you use it to forgive all of your family members for crimes against the United States, by the way. And everyone is okay with that. That's criminal. There's definitely something flawed at the very least about that. Whether you're for Trump or not, that's just criminal.
Where are you thinking on tariffs on Mexico, given these actions you're signing on the border?
Well, we're thinking in terms of 25% on Mexico and Canada because they're allowing vast numbers of people. Canada's a very bad abuser also. Vast numbers of people to come in and fentanyl to come in.
When do you think you would enact those?
I think February 1st.
Are you planning on giving notice of that?
I think we'll do it February 1st
25% on both, sir,
Sir,
on each.
on each.
Yeah.
this is an executive order taking a large number of executive actions to secure our southern border.
Okay? Sounds reasonable.
President Trump, we remember 4 years ago, Barack Obama had told you that the top threat to the country was going to be North Korea. Did Joe Biden tell you what he thinks the top threat to the country is right now?
No.
Why not?
I think we have a lot of them.
What do
Right
you
now,
think
we
is the
really,
top
I think we
threat?
have a lot. I think North Korea turned out to be good. I was very friendly with him. He liked me. I liked him. We got along very well. And they thought that was a tremendous threat. Now, he is a nuclear power, but we got along. I think he'll be happy to see him coming back.
And
I think he has tremendous condo capability. He's got a lot of shoreline.
Condo capabilities. This guy can't stop hustling. All right, so here we got the third or fourth one on. I think it's the third, might be the fourth, but for sure the third, just on southern border immigration issues. Why you need three separate executive orders to tell you to order whatever it is you want to do, I don't know. But again, we're not seeing what exactly is inside of there. They may be available on whitehouse.gov under the executive orders, but who exactly will be reading those, God only knows. For the most part, this is all dog and pony show to placate the masses of a certain ilk who feel like their rights are being trampled on. Now, my thing is this. In fact, this is a good time to segue into something else. This whole issue of racial or ethnic politics here in the US of A. Classic one being black-white or white-colored now is the deal. So I say it's really beyond that at this point, right? Like there was some performers who performed for Ed Trump's inauguration, and they were considered black performers, and they were like, "Oh, you're sellouts." Black people were saying, "Oh, you're sellouts. How dare you perform at that guy's show and this and that? You sold out the black community." My question for you, black community, is what community? Do you really believe that there is a quote unquote community at this point in 2025? What interests do you collectively have? And do you really believe that if Kamala would have won, that somehow the situation would be better for you? There was nothing on the table for you. Nothing of substance. Zero. There was no politicking directly to you about anything that would be offered to you or for you. No one needs to. The Republicans don't need you, so they don't need to speak to you. And the Democrats know that 90+% of you are going to show up no matter what. They don't need to offer you anything. So what are you talking about? They sold out. And for the white folks who think that, oh, Donald Trump is here, so he's going to solve all of our issues, it doesn't go like that. It doesn't. There are some things that you need to take care of to ensure that your interest is met. How did you get in the situation where you are in the first place? Is it because of people who look like me? Is it because of rappers and entertainers that your whole world has gotten corrupted? You got here by a particular group that's pulling the strings behind the scenes, and you need to find out who that group is, and you need to do something about it. This guy knows full well who they are, and I see him as an effective middleman trying to middle it between groups of people who have an interest. Yours being one of them, as far as white people in America, yours being one of them, but he can't fight for you more than you fight for yourselves. And if you're going to continue to just donut it out, right? Let the waist go 50, 60 inches, right? Uh, Come to work every day with low morale, no real drive, no ambition, you know, just kind of dragging your feet along. What are we doing? There used to be a point where that was just isolated, a random Swanson TV dinner guy. Now that seems to be the culture. Not knowing your kids, not raising your family, household all over the place, right? People like me who look like me, your family, oh my God, like it's shameful, the black family's condition. The family here in America is struggling, but there are certain groups who are doing far better than others. And for all of us, if we fall into the divide and conquer, all these ideas that have been defined, tell me, what does it mean to be black? What does it mean to be white? Don't get me wrong. There is a history here that defines all that, and there's a struggle and whatnot. But today, right now in 2025, 12-year-old kid, you put him in front of you, you ask him, you put a white one, a black one, a native one, African one, and you ask them about any of those things, they're going to know more about Roblox and Mr. Beast and Ryan than they know about any of those other things that you're talking about. And that's the tragedy of the world in which you live. And most of us have no idea how we got there, what's going on, and what do we do. And we're looking to others outside of ourselves to solve our problems. Black folk on the federal level, your case, in my view, was mostly hopeless. Unless you can somehow galvanize a whole bunch of people who are going to do thankless work, educating the masses on civic responsibility, you're going to get nothing. Look to me like not having Michelle Obama at the inauguration is to set you up for the next 4 years, where she's going to come out and pretend to be your Lord and Savior, promising you nothing of substance, merely just a talking head about how white people did this or Trump did this and racists did that and white nationalists did this. I'm sure they'll give something to the brown folk for whatever reason. It seems that they have an agenda and they don't mind paying them to move their agenda forward. Great for them. Now, brown people, you're getting ready to catch hell. And I don't wish that for you. That's just the reality. So if you can survive these 4 years, maybe you should get something out in the next 4. But black, it doesn't matter who wins. You get nothing. And that's shameful and disgraceful. When are you going to wake up? When are you going to stop swallowing everything they give you hook, line, and sinker out of these boxes and TVs and scripts? Take some time out to learn about what it is that's going on here. What is the local political situation? Which, by the way, as I've said many, many times, and you maybe have heard, and if you haven't, you need to. Your local political situation is what matters most in your day-to-day life. Why people somehow feel the need to activate the most when it's a federal election cycle, I don't know. But the sheriff is the one you need to be on if you're catching hell as far as being killed in the streets. The police chief, the mayor, the city council, the judges, the district attorney, county supervisors and managers, school board if you don't like all of the things that's going on.